If the human military designers had their way, every colour of the spectrum would be removed except for grey, green, and black, and we would all live in windowless boxes. This was commentary of the design aesthetic chosen for the ISA Valen, the first of a kind, and to our knowledge, only one of its kind, of a new class of ship that was actually a hybrid of both human and Minbari technology. Controlled by the Onlashok, otherwise known as the Rangers, this vessel, I've heard some say, may have been a test bed for some of the technology of the Victory class destroyers that would ultimately be used in the search for the Drakh Plague. The two prototypes of that design were created for the use of the human military, whereas this one seemed to be more for the Minbari and was actually handed over to the Onlashok. The Victory, the original prototype, was destroyed, but the Excalibur, the other ship, survived and was given to the command of Captain Matthew Gideon. It's another story, and I think I've already done a video on it. Done a lot of videos on this channel. I'm pretty much certain I will have covered that one. I'm sure I have. I won't remember to link it, but it will be in the playlist somewhere. So, hello there and welcome to the channel. Would be my normal greeting, but there we go. Let's look at the Veilen. This ship, as I said, was a hybrid vessel of technologies from both human and Minbari origin. This was very obvious. The basic, in my opinion, hull coloration of the ship, despite the Minbari's difference of opinion, looked very Minbari, with traits of the vessel that were kind of bird-like but also blocky, which is kind of how the Minbari build their ships and humans build them. So the sort of front control section of the vessel was very obviously of human-inspired, whereas the engine block and sort of wings of the ship were much more obviously Minbari. The vessel was very interestingly unarmed, or at least had not received its armaments as of the date of its commissioning. But every Onlashok and his uncle Vorlon wanted command of this ship. And our hero didn't get it. This ship appeared in the Legend of the Rangers movie, which I have almost nothing good to say about. It's not a bad film, but it was meant to be a pilot for a new series that didn't happen. It had ambitious goals and tried to make itself very mysterious, like its weird little introduction of all the crew members around the table saying different things about themselves that made no sense in an effort to make them look mysterious, when in reality the only one that looked mysterious to me was the Drazi, who just basically said his name and didn't try and make himself sound mysterious by saying he was on a journey or looking for something or he has a past. You don't know about that past yet, but you will never know about that past because the series has not picked up. This ship, though, the Valen, was considered one of the premier vessels of the Onlashok. Everyone wanted it. It was a beautiful ship, and as I said, it was the first of its kind, blending technologies. It had gravity, like some Earth vessels at that time, like the Warlock class was starting to have, and Minbari vessels already have. It was jump capable, and other than that, practically nothing about it. It had escape pods, and the reason we know it had escape pods is because it needed them. Upon exiting hyperspace, this vessel was first assigned, its first ever mission was to transport a bunch of diplomats to Beta Durrani system for a conference and to see something. Not really important what, some archaeology, which some other ancient race, or group rather, or race simply known as the Hand, sent their acolytes out to deal with them. As soon as they exited hyperspace, the ship was attacked. Its sole escort ship, in order to keep this mission sort of quiet, they'd only sent one vessel, was a ship called the Lilandra, which was a tiny wreck of a ship, which is actually much more interesting storyline-wise than the actual movie. That I would have liked to have learned more about. The ship was literally haunted, which makes no sense in the Babylon 5 universe. I would have liked to have seen an explanation for that. I still would. But because the Valen was unarmed, it was unable to defend itself, plus it was ambushed as soon as it came out of hyperspace. It was unable to evade, maneuver, anything. And then the very questionable the infamous method upon which the Lilandra was actually firing its weapons, they tried something. They tried something. Didn't work. Stupid. But they tried. Give them that. The Lilandra attempts to engage the ship, so there's simply no match for them. The Valen is destroyed, but the captain goes down with the ship, as would be, I suppose, supposedly tradition. It's not, but let's pretend it is. He basically held the attacking ship's attention long enough to allow the diplomats to get to their escape pods, and he ordered the Lilandra to pick them up and get them to safety. That was the mission. They were there to protect them. The loss of the Valen was inconsequential. It was already lost. The best it could do now was be a target for the enemy to make sure that the actual targets the enemy were attempting to destroy got away. One of whom was Jakar. Forgot to mention that. The one genuine highlight of that movie, aside from maybe the Leandra, Andreas Katsoulis, that man could do nothing wrong, especially in the Babylon 5 universe. Jakar was just chef's kiss. That man did that character so well. And Andreas Katsoulis, we miss you so much. You'll be forever missed. You will never be able to be replaced. That role is yours forever. You own it. And of this very confusing, odd, peculiar, and poorly written, poorly executed, bad special effects movie, Andreas Katsoulis' portrayal of Jakar was the highlight. Best thing about the film. And it will forever be that way. Fight me. You can't win that argument. He was awesome. But the Veilen herself was destroyed, but did its duty. It got the diplomats to safety. So arguably, is it a good ship? Did it actually have any... No. It was... Why didn't they put any weapons on it? Were the weapons knocked out in the opening salvo? You know what? It's been a while since I've seen the film. I feel like, no. I feel like they just didn't put weapons on it because that would have made sense. The film doesn't make sense. Anyway. However, aesthetically, I did quite like the ship. I thought it was quite a pretty vessel. I don't think it was very big, really. I think it was meant to be, but we don't have a scale for it. It didn't look big. It looked a little bigger than a White Star, maybe. Certainly wasn't as big as one of the Victory class, but I do actually like the idea that it was a test bed of the technology for the Victory class, which is why it never went into mass production, which does kind of make a degree of sense. It's the only thing maybe out of this film that makes sense, aside from, again, Andreas Katsoulis. Some of the characters are okay in Legend of the Rangers. I'm trying to find good things. I mean, it's no fault of the cast. I don't know what they were thinking. They tried to, and it was the firing of the weapons, where she's hovering in this little virtual simulation. She's sort of punching at space, and it fires the weapons. How is that more accurate than a console? No shade on the actress. That's on the creative team. I'm surprised. It's a terrible film, but it did have several aspects of it that were interesting. And I had a request recently to do a video on the Rangers, and I was going to do that. And then when I was doing it, I remembered the Legend of the Rangers movie, which, thanks for reminding me it existed. Thanks. I decided I was going to cover the Veilen, and surprisingly, because I've not seen the film in a while and I'm not rewatching it, I had to remind myself, I was like, it's not in it for long. I don't want to do a deep dive onto the Leandra right now, because that might actually require me to rewatch the film. But I can do the Veilen, because it's virtually not in it. And if there's anything I don't know, I can look it up. I thought, did this thing have no weapons? I'll have to look that up. It had no weapons. I had to Google that, but there you go. I have nothing else to say, because anything else to say will just be me ranting. If you've seen the movie, let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below. If you've seen Legend of the Rangers, is it as tragically bad as I remember? If you love it, more power to you. I hope someone out there loves it, because they should. A lot of people, a lot of creative, talented people, put a lot of effort into making something I couldn't make. So you know what? I can insult it all I want, but I couldn't make that film. So you know what? Compliments where they're due. You made something. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on it and on the Veilen. Would you like to have seen more of her? Would you like to have seen it go into mass production? Do you agree that it was a testbed to the technology of the Victory class? All good things. Let me know in the comment section down below. We're at the end of this video now, though. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.